and I would be secure, and I'd be fulfilled. And if my kids turned out such and such a way, I would be, and on and on and on the list goes. Anything that you put in your life to do what only God can do is an idol in your life. And when you don't seek godly counsel, you end up with idols. It's interesting as it goes on, verse 29, we're almost done. Verse 29, and one of the idols he set up in Bethel, and the other in Dan. And just Bethel. Does anybody know what that word means? It means house of God. It's where Jacob had the vision of God and the angel ascending and descending on a stairway or a ladder. And he said, surely God is here. This is the house of God. And here Jeroboam sets up an idol in the house of God. And this, verse 30, thing became a sin. The people even went as far as Dan to worship the one there. And they worshiped an idol. Rejecting or ignoring the Word of God is a sin. And that should be a slash there between those two words, not a question mark. Rejecting / rejecting, ignoring the Word of God is a sin. So Jeroboam and Rehoboam both set an example for us in a negative way. Neither one of them knew what they should do next. And what did they do? They sought worldly, ungodly advice. And we come to places in our lives, we come to decisions in our lives where we're not sure what we should do. I know I do. I have to make sure that whoever it is that I'm talking to is coming from the Word of God. I have to seek godly advice. You have to seek godly advice. If Jeroboam had had a copy of this book and had it by him and was reading it every day and he sought advice and the guys that he came to and they said, well, this is what you should do. You should set up 2 golden calves and have the people worship those calves. What would he say? What would he say to those guys? He said, you're crazy. That's not what this says. And when we know this book, when we know the Bible, and somebody gives us advice, we can tell. That's where in Romans chapter 12, verses 1 and 2, that you may be able to renew your mind, so that you may be able to test and approve the perfect will of God. When your mind is renewed by this book, and you get advice, you're going to say, whoa, that doesn't match what I've been reading in here. But if you're not reading this book, you say, oh, that sounds good. That sounds like good advice. Seek godly advice. Again, if you're here this morning and you're not a Christian, if you don't know this God who makes these kinds of promises, come as we sing our hymn of invitation.